Israel that it could face a third Palestinian uprising and deepening international isolation if American brokered peace negotiations failed. In the midst of trying to get the two parties back to the negotiating table, a Swiss report was released on Thursday, November the 7th, which said tests conducted on the remains of late Palestinian leader Yasser Arafat showed high levels of polonium poisoning, but were not proof that he died from it.
Le polonium a été la cause de la mort.
The forensic experts were part of an international team that opened Arafat's grave in the West Bank city of Ramallah last November and took samples from his body to see if there was evidence that it was poisoned with a radioactive element. Immediately after the report was released, Palestine reiterated its claim that Israel killed Arafat, a claim the Jewish state swiftly denied.
I want to say this as clearly as I can. Israel did not kill Arafat, period. It's as simple as that. There's nothing more to it. We have nothing to do with it. Palestinians should stop leveling all those groundless accusations without the slightest proof, because enough is enough. We have strictly nothing to do with this, and that's all there is to it.
With all the issues severely dividing the Israelis and Palestinians, there is no doubt that the U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry has his work cut out for him. Yes, indeed, John Kerry has undertaken a difficult mission, but our guest on the program, Dr. Dakwa Thomas, actually thinks he has a great chance of success. You're welcome to Diplomatic Channel.
Thank you.
All right. Now, U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry is doing the part of other U.S. leaders before him. The U.S. leaders before him, they have tried and failed to end the Middle East crisis. Does he have any chance of success in this difficult mission he has undertaken?
Well, the first thing we have to appreciate is the fact that at least John Kerry has taken the initiative to embark on this kind of venture, which I think a lot of other past leaders have tried, but they have failed. But we have to, because when he started too, actually there was this skepticism, around everything. People called him all sorts of names, ham-handed, Don Kuzut, diplomat, and all sorts of names. They even called him being naive. But to a very large extent, I think he has been successful. And now we are not looking at whether it was possible again for the two, that is the Palestinians and the Israelis, to now sit down together. But now we are looking at the time that the talks will start, because he has successfully been able to initiate a move that there should be a restart of the talks. And I think to a very large extent, particularly when you look at the people, when you look at the compromises or concessions that the two leaders, Mahmoud Abbas of Palestine and Benjamin Netanyahu, of the Prime Minister of Israel, they have been able to say, okay, what are the terms? What are the grounds to resume the talks? And the two groups have decided to shift grounds. The Palestinians have said, well, there can be no talks except the Israelis withdraw, or they freeze settlements. They freeze settlements which they are doing in East Jerusalem and some parts of West Bank. And then the Israelis are saying, okay, we want, in our own case, we are saying, okay, we are ready now for even prepared for binational state. That is dividing Jerusalem into two, the Palestinians having East Jerusalem and the Israelis having the Old Jerusalem.
But there's something that baffles me. I was reading the other day that the building of Israeli settlements in East Jerusalem is illegal under international law. Now, if that's the case, why are world powers reluctant to assert their authority in this case, as they would have done with other Aryan nations?
The fact is, for now, Israel is a state, and then the Palestine is not a state, it's just an authority within the Israel state. Okay. And as a result of that, it is very difficult for any nation to now ask a legitimate state, a state that is legitimately established, to stop building or to stop certain processes. Okay. It's very difficult. That's intervention. And they will not want that kind of stuff, because as far as Israel is concerned, they have no problem. The only group that have problem is Palestine. And their own state, as far as they are concerned, they are in existence. And we don't tell you what you are doing in your country, so you don't tell us what we are going to do.
Now, from all what you've been saying, it seems like you're optimistic that progress will be made, that John Kerry is going to achieve success on, ending the Middle East crisis to a large extent from what you're saying. But what about this latest development? A Swiss forensic report that says the late Palestinian leader Yasser Arafat was poisoned. Now, Palestine believes Israel killed him. Could this be a setback to the peace talks?
First, let us establish the fact that I'm seeing some prospect in this Palestine talk. In the first instance, you will see that the 2002 accord, the 2002 initiative, which was never accepted before by Netanyahu, had now been accepted. The idea of prisoner swap had also been accepted. The withdrawal from most of Hebron had also been accepted. Then we also had the idea of the fact that he had said that he would never divide Jerusalem. Now the issue is also coming into play. And he has also said that he will never accept a situation where 1967 borderlines will be used for the beginning of, to discuss, because they prefer the post-1967, but the Palestinians prefer pre-1967 because it favored them. A lot of things happened during the 1967 war. So that's why the Israelis are saying, okay, this is our own position, we prefer this, but now they are coming down, So in that case, I believe that there are prospects, for a peaceful resolution. Unfortunately, this dimension of Yasser Arafat is the issue of Polonium 2 is unfortunate. In the sense that when you look at it, you tend to believe that this is a distraction, and it's going to slow down the process, because if they want to go along with the Swiss release, report, is going to create some kind of doubt, as to the sincerity of Israel. But I don't think this is the truth. I don't know what is happening, but international conspiracy and international politics will not allow me to say that Israel was not responsible for the death of for the assassination of Yasser Arafat, so to say.
From what you have said, you actually believe Arafat was assassinated. Is that what you're saying?
Well, when you look at the situation, because they said they saw traces of polonium, on some of the personal items that were retrieved from the French hospital when he died in 2004. So, and then all these things were tested. And I want to believe the involvement of the three nations, when you look at Switzerland, you look at Russia, you look at France. I cannot put anything past these two particular nations, Russia and France, because they have not come up with any kind of, with their own results.
Russia has said that the
yes, of you see. So when you look at international conspiracy, you want to believe that maybe Switzerland doesn't play politics. They are saying what actually happened. But the silence of Russia and France gives me the impression that possibly there may be some truth, in what they are saying, but it's neither here nor there. But when you look at international conspiracy very well, you will discover that the issue of mercy, that's the Muslim Brotherhood. So why I'm saying I cannot put anything past the international countries, particularly the 5 permanent members of the United Nations, is as a result of what is happening in Egypt. Because they have already predicted, or they have already preempted what Kerry is going to do, or they knew their agenda. And that is why they believe that the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt would not want to support a kind of resolution of the conflict. And that is why they removed, so to say in quotes, that's why they have to get Morsi out, the Muslim Brotherhood out. And you can see now that Egypt is now supporting. I'm going to ask you to
pause here.
Yeah.
Are you saying that the U.S. was involved in the removal of Mohamed Morsi of Egypt?
I cannot put it past them. I cannot, vouch for them, for their credibility in this regard.
Because, well, why would they do that? What do they stand to gain?
That's what I'm saying. That they had this peace initiative that we are talking about must have been premeditated. They had it on board, and they will have seen that Arab League was going to play a very vital role, and the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt will not, and is a major player. It's a key player in the Arab League. And Once Egypt refused to be part of this kind of arrangement, then it's going to be difficult. So the best thing is to get the man removed, because I have not seen in history, even right from the time of Bible, even Absalom plotted coup. He plotted a coup against his father. He succeeded. He ruled for some period. But this is the first time I'm seeing a group of soldiers planning coup, and they never benefited for even 24 hours. They just put in a government. So I'm suspecting some kind of conspiracy, because now Egypt is going along with the Arab League.